Welcome back to Working Faith, where we take a spiritual approach to career success. I'm your host, Jalen Isley, and today we're talking about influencing others. I'm so excited to introduce Joy Dawson. Currently, Joy serves as the Chief Business Development Executive at Joyfully Planned. Her role involves forging meaningful connections and partnerships, a task she excels in due to her extensive experiences and multifaceted career. Joy is undoubtedly your connection strategist, as she possesses a unique ability to foster connections, build bridges, and create opportunities for growth and success. Her mission is simple yet profound: provide joy in the journey. Joy, welcome to the show. So glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here.
So, Joy, we have been trying to get this interview on the books for a while now. But, as Joy and I were meeting up and getting ready for this interview today, we were just talking about divine alignment and divine timing and trusting the process. So it didn't happen a few months ago like we originally planned, but we know that it's happening today for a reason. And I'm so excited to hear more about Joy, your journey, and how you have leveraged some of your spiritual principles to positively influence others in the workplace. Let's talk about it. We know that you're part of the Christian faith community. What are some of the core principles of your faith that resonate most with you and how they shaped who you are today?
Well, first of all, my name is Joy. So if you don't have joy and your name is Joy, I don't know, that's probably the most walking contradictory situation out there. You probably would have to look into a name change, right? So I would say first and foremost joy, and it's not just because it's my name. Yes, that's great, but really joy of the Lord. And that is so contagious when it's genuine and it's real, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just impressionable to the people that you are around, and it's planting a seed of positivity.
Yeah, I like that. And the thing about joy is that when you plant that seed, it multiplies and grows in unexpected ways, like ways you didn't
Mm.
even intend. So I love that idea of planting it as a seed for others.
Well, because everything has to start as a seed, right?
That's true.
Everything has to start in a phase, in a baby phase, and then it has to mature. And that's very applicable to us, right? That's very applicable to not only our inward character, but also applicable to our life and our business journeys.
That is very true. And speaking of business journey, man, Joy has accomplished so much. I couldn't even fit it all into the bio, everything that this woman has going on and the impact that she's able to wield. So, but let's talk about that journey. Let's talk about the career and how Joy can actually impact that, especially when we're trying to influence others. So, how do you define influence and why is it important?
Oh, influence is so important, not just for us as adults, something for us to foster from the moment that a baby is born.
Hmm.
That influence on what they see, what they eat, how they respond to what they eat. And it just grows through lessons in life and situations. So that investment, that influence is to shape a character, is to mold a foundation, to help foster a pattern that is of some caliber, that is remarkable and wanting to be emulated, right? So nowadays people in social media call themselves influencers. Many times I even tagline it in mine, really for social media algorithms and things of that
Hmm.
nature.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there are people that are children, our colleagues that we all look to for influence. And instead of us looking for influence from those that may be unattainable or unreachable, why don't we look at those influence from those who may have come before us,
Hmm.
or even those that are after us? Why don't we take the time to influence in the present?
Yeah, no, that's important because like by time you get to social media, this is something they're not influencing the present moment. They are sharing what they want to share and curating and crafting and sending a direct message there, but your ability to influence someone in the present moment directly with them, that's important. And I know that you have so many different clients with diverse needs. Can you share an example of how your Christian principles have helped you positively influence either a challenging situation or a circumstance that really just needed that infusion of joy?
Well, if we're being honest, I mean, any story that we tell, whether it's those that are listening, whether it's your personal journey or mine, we all have a story to tell. And we
Hmm.
all have a way that we could look back where we could have been an influencer, or maybe where we influenced. And that's another thing. We can always influence, but I guess I would like to be known as a positive influencer. And that's the difference, is that I want to make a mark for the mindset and openness for us to be aware of how we can influence. How are our words fruitful to the next person? So, of
Hmm.
course, in business, we have clients, we have colleagues, we have disgruntled employees. There's situations, there's pains, right? But with every success, there's failures. So, of course, I could share a bunch of situations where where it could have been a negative, where it could have been a positive. I think ultimately I took some of my businesses, my one business in particular, as a ministry. I wanted to be an asset to single moms. I wanted to
Hmm.
be an asset to people that I could resonate with, people that I could give a hand to, because I knew what it was like when there was no hand for me.
Hmm.
So, what we do with the influence that we have is so profound, because at all times, somebody, or for me, my Father God is watching.
Hmm.
And as a parent, every single day, I have three sets of eyes that watch how I went through my day. Did I
Hmm.
show up? Was I on time? Was I accountable? Was I consistent? Was I able to talk about my faults? Am I instilling? Am I influencing? Am I being a positive light? Am I bringing joy? Am I providing joy in the journey for those around me? Now, don't get it wrong. Not everybody's going to love me. Not everybody's
Mm-hmm.
going to want to be influenced by me.
Mm-hmm.
But just as this interview had a right time, there'll be right time and right situations and right people that come in and out of our lives to the divine connection. And
Yeah.
what we do with it in that moment, that's where it goes. So I would say specifically, there's not a situation that I can sit and say, oh, that harbored me, because now my mindset in the influential space is not only did I get through it, did I process it, but I forgot it, because now I need to do better. And that kind of also just ties into, you can't hold on to the past to be able to influence the present.
Yeah. I think that is something that is not always at top of mind with people. There are probably multiple instances or opportunities throughout the day in which we are letting our past interaction or situation with someone influence how we currently respond to them. And so, if I'm understanding you correctly, part of your core Christian principles allows you to let go of whatever happened in the past, whether it can be perceived as positive or negative. It's about staying in the present moment and maximizing the influence and the impact that you could have with someone right there in the present moment and allowing opportunity to flourish from there. Do I have that right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's up because delayed obedience
Hmm.
is disobedience.
That part. Say that one more time, Joy.
Delayed obedience is disobedience.
Wow.
And I mean, I'll give credit to Pastor Wes from Hope Church Winter Garden for that,
Mm-hmm.
because the sermon notes and the ability to get fed, it doesn't matter, to the listeners, it doesn't matter where you get fed, but just get fed, get to the word, and really just hear that, like, the time is now. Tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah.
Delayed obedience is truly disobedience.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna have to sit with that one for today. I'm gonna
Happy.
something is churning inside of me here. You're speaking to something right now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to sit with that one and let that resonate, and then take some action. So, but you know what? That actually leads me to my next topic, because when you talk about delayed obedience, even that can weigh on you, and that can weigh heavy on your spirit when you're not being in the moment and taking action in the moment and showing up and living in accordance with your values and your belief system. So let's talk about your spiritual wellness, because interestingly enough, as it pertains to corporate America or careers and things of that nature, over the past few years, we've seen an influx in prioritizing well-being and mental and emotional health. I consider your spirituality to be a core component of your wellness and your ability to show up effectively each day. So, are there specific practices you use to maintain your spiritual health and well-being?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not just the spiritual. I mean, yes, I am a Jesus lover. I love the Lord and have a personal relationship with him. So that's at my core. So because of my personal belief and being able to publicly profess that, I want to be able to be a vessel and use that to tell people that, like, love, kindness, compassion, humility are our core principles that allow us to be better humans, that allow us to get along, that allow us
Mm-hmm.
to collaborate, that allow us freedom, that allow us creativity. Like, we have so much beautiful abilities to create the opportunities just with the minds, with nothing, not material things, just what the nature outside and the beautiful people that God has given on this earth. Yet sometimes we miss the boat because we don't go to the simplicity. We're so focused on the complexity.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I say that to say, because it goes back to the influence. We aren't able to influence others at its complexity if we can't go to the root of the simplicity of doing the inner work. So the inner work has to happen for that spiritual wellness to happen, for the faith journey to happen, for your emotional well-being to happen, because you got to break the chains. You got to break generation curses. You got to let the past go. Why are we so fearful to embrace something new? Because we are letting something hold us back. And it's like we always wait for the right time. There's never going to be a right time. The time's now.
Yep. You're absolutely right. And I feel like, to your point, the more you lean into those spiritual principles, the better not only does it make you a better human being, but the better you're equipped to actually take action now. When you are leaning into the tenets of your faith, you've got the strength, you've got the sustenance, you've got the trust, you've got the
Mm,
support. To
The full
actually take
armor.
action. Yeah, you've got it, to take action in the present moment. And I will tell you this, just to be transparent, the only time that I am engaging in delayed obedience, as you mentioned previously, is when my spiritual life is starting to take a hit, when it's starting to take a turn, and I'm not fortified to show up and be present the way that I need to be, because for whatever reason I've allowed doubt or fear or whatever to creep in. And that can only creep in when your spirit's not fortified. And so
You're
you
not
have to invest in that.
alone.
You've got to invest in that. So
You are not alone. Don't think just because there is, there's success or there's growth in areas doesn't mean that there isn't things that need healing, or, the only place success can come before work is in the dictionary, right? So in order to get to that place, you got to work, you got to put in the work, but you got to have faith.
yep.
And that faith is such a true component, but you're not the only one. I fall off too, because, and when I fall off, that's where the enemy likes to attack.
Yep. Yeah,
And you know what?
definitely.
He attacks me in the technology stuff. I'm sure it's happened to you, with podcasts and recording, because I know, with that. And just every time it would be, I had an RFP due the other day, and sure enough, printer doesn't want to work.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, okay, all right. And what you do with that is really where you take the principles, what you do with
Yes.
it. So it's not, I'm not perfect. The only man that ever walked this earth that was perfect was Jesus. So I will never claim to be that, but I will say that in those times of pulling back and thinking I got this, and as a planner, oh, it's all on me. No, I submit to God's plan, and really just saying, hey, you got to tap in, you got to get spiritually fed, you got to be right, you got to be well prepared for what's next, and what God has in store for you. And the enemy is going to attack those doubts, but what you truly do with it is where you can find the joy and where you can apply those principles back into it.
Amen. Amen. Joy, I'll tell you, it has been such a pleasure having you on the show today. I normally like to end things with us sharing one takeaway that people can do to be more effective in terms of influencing throughout their careers. We talked a lot about just staying present in the moment. Would that be the one takeaway, or is there something else you want to share with the audience in terms of how they can become better at influencing more effectively?
Actually, I appreciate all of the things that we talked about, and I thank you so much for just patience and the opportunity to be in dialogue with you. The conversation, I mean, we've
Yeah.
we've gotten to just kind of get deeper, and I think that's one thing that we don't embrace as adults, is
Mm.
embracing the uncomfortable, or getting to the core. Everybody can say they're fine. Everybody can say it's okay. I would say my biggest takeaway outside of our conversation. So thank you again so much for this opportunity. And I would say lastly, just for the takeaway on how to influence others truly. Actually, matter of fact, if you're listening to this and you're at home, go ahead and just walk into your bedroom or into a bathroom and look in the mirror. And if you're listening to this on your computer and you have your phone, go ahead and put your camera up and go ahead and look at your face. Because it wasn't really about what Joy Dawson did to influence others. It was the way that God infused my life,
Mm.
so I could change from within. And that would be
Mm.
my challenge today, is while you look in that mirror, while you look in that selfie stick, while you're getting ready to walk out that door, what can you do in your delivery, in your actions, in your commentary, in your drive, where nobody even sees you? What can you do to make you better, to be a better influence for others?
Joy, joy, joy. I love it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, you all heard the challenge. This is it over the next week. Take the time to do that. At least once a day. Look in the mirror. Look at the camera selfie before you take that selfie and post it to Instagram or wherever you're going to post it. Have a moment with yourself and think about what you can do to enhance your own experience so you can be a positive influence in someone else's life. That's beautiful, Joy. Absolutely. I have nothing else to add. But I'm ready. I am ready to take that challenge on. That is spot on. So I'm going to do that. Absolutely. Well,
yes, take the challenge, and you know what? We'll just create a little hashtag that you can attach to the podcast that we can go back
yes.
and see how many people are going to be an influence, whether it's in Orlando or it's all over the world. What you can do with that, and if we just start with a seed,
yeah,
how
absolutely.
it can grow.
Absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. How can the audience stay connected with you to stay up to date on what you're doing?
Woo! I don't know. I can tell
LinkedIn?
you.
Should we?
No, yes, LinkedIn is perfect. LinkedIn and Instagram is perfect. LinkedIn, Joy Dawson, results oriented and connection strategist, business developer. So you can see that on there, and also Instagram at Joyfully Planned Firm on Instagram, and it'll connect me to the other pages and ways that you can connect me. I also am in the community, so hopefully I get to see some of you in and around. And I just appreciate what you're doing for the community, and I appreciate how you're infusing really just a seedling of hope and faith. And your story is amazing, and I just can't wait to have so many opportunities to share that too while we get to provide joy in the journey. So thanks for that again. Let's stay connected, and I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you all for listening to Working Faith. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. All the show notes, information about our guest, Joy Dawson, and the link to submit your career questions, if you have any, can be found at our website, workingfaith.com. Remember to subscribe, rate, and share this show with others. I'd love to hear your comments. You can engage directly with me by joining the Working Faith group on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back next week with more tips on how you can take a spiritual approach to your career success and work your faith. Good day.